we have been discussing the impact, the legacy of colonialism and its impact on our region, the Caribbean region, and we've been dissecting that from the perspective of the legal system, our economic systems, uh, the legacy of underdevelopment and dependency. And we've been looking at some solutions that are homegrown, things about our countries and our regions, our islands and our nations that we can, ways that we can improve the situation. Uh, we've invited you to speak on reparations. Um, we want to discuss it a bit more briefly, perhaps, than you would have in about 5 minutes, to just summarize how the discussion on reparations is intertwined in this entire discussion.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I tried to get on earlier. I've been waiting since 5:30, but finally I'm here and I'm very thankful to be able to offer some quick thoughts on this discussion. As previously noted, I'll be looking at the Caribbean reparation movement and British slavery apologies. The subject matter of the paper is the apology theme of the Caribbean reparation movement, focusing particularly on the way in which different voices in the United Kingdom have offered different apologies as a result of their involvement in slavery. Briefly looking at the period from about 1999 to the present 2022. The paper is located within the Caribbean Reparation Commission, which was established in 2013 to put forward a legal and a moral case calling upon former European colonizers to apologize for their role in slavery. In terms of the historiography on reparations, it's a new and expanding area, including some examples such as Boris Bitker's The Case for Reparation, which was published in 1972. Nora Rittman's Slavery Reparation Time Is Now, published in 2013, and the flagship publication of this subject matter is Hilary Beckel's Britain's Black Debt, published in 2013. Few writers, however, have focused on the apology dimension of the Caribbean reparation movement. Consequently, the aim of this presentation is to delineate as quickly as I can and analyze the United Kingdom-based slavery apologies to determine the extent to which, if at all, they align to the Caribbean reparation campaign. The first city in the United Kingdom to offer an apology for slavery was Liverpool, and this was done on December the 9th, 1999. And the apology read, "We apologize to the millions of African sons and daughters kidnapped directly from the continent who suffered profound physical and mental abuse." This apology was accompanied by magnanimous respect for the Black presence and contributions, both past and present, in the city of Liverpool. For example, in 1999, Liverpool led the way in the United Kingdom in observing August the 23rd as the International Day for the remembrance of the abolition of the slave trade. In 2004, it began following the example of the USA observing Black History Month. In 2007, it inaugurated the high-profile Slavery Remembrance Memorial Lecture. In 2017, it spent large sums of money to establish the International Slavery Museum. In 2010, it collaborated with the Liverpool University to launch the Center for the Study of International Slavery. These initiatives were all varied and significant and certainly made the 1999 apology quite meaningful. However, its obvious drawback was that it was an apology not from the national government, which is what the Caribbean Reparation Justice Program requires, but an apology from a repentant city. Then the Church of England in 2006 also apologized, well, made a statement about the church's involvement in slavery. However, this did not, as in the case of Liverpool, translate into any tangible development that pushed forward the reparation movement. As a matter of fact, the church remains today the only UK entity that has entertained the possibility of paying financial reparation. However, they stalled on that promise by presenting the lame excuse that it is difficult to determine the format and the beneficiary of financial reparation. Tony Blair, former Prime Minister of Britain in 2006, also offered, and this time on behalf of the British government, an apology in 2006 stating, I believe the bicentenary, and here he was referring to the 200th year anniversary of the British abolition of the trading captive Africans, which was celebrated in a big way in the United Kingdom in 2007. So he said that the bicentenary offers us a chance not just to say how profoundly shameful the trade was and praise those who fought for its abolition, but also to express our deep sorrow that it would have ever happened. Blair's critics rejected this expression of sorrow, insisting that it was barely an apology. It was more of a mumble jumble and a mealy-mouthed apology. Una King, who was the Baroness in the House of Lords at the time, shed light on Blair's statement of sorrow about slavery by noting, the Prime Minister is stopping short of a full apology because it leaves the state open to claims for reparation, clearly indicating that Britain is unwilling to make a full and formal apology for its role in the enslavement of Africans in the Americas. There were two other apologies. I wouldn't go into much detail because of time. One from Peter Hale, who was the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland and Wales, and the second was from the former Mayor of London, Kenneth Livingston. The former, the one from Peter Hale, did not translate into much action and created quite a stir from the Irish people who rejected the need for the apology since they insisted, although history proved them dishonest, that they had no participation in the transatlantic slave trade. And Livingstone's apology was also did not have any tangible consequences, but it did advance the intellectual dimension of the Caribbean reparation movement because he presented three solid counter-arguments to persons who have taken a negative position towards the reparation movement. And I just mentioned those three counterpoints that he raised which support reparation very quickly. One, he noticed that distance in time could never erase the memory of mass murder that enslavement caused. Secondly, he noticed that refusal to apologize would lower England in the eyes of the world. And finally, that reparation, and this is a very strong point, a point that Hilary Beckles also repeats, that reparation is legitimized by the fact that Londoners today, as a matter of fact, the whole of the United Kingdom, are enjoying massive profits which slavery generated. The last two apologies or statements about slavery coming from the United Kingdom were quite recent, in 2021 and 2022, during their respective visits to the Caribbean to mark, first of all, Republican rule in Barbados and to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. Prince Charles and his son Prince William spoke regrettably about the appalling atrocity of slavery which forever stains our history. And William added, quote, I want to express my profound sorrow, just like what Prime Minister Blair had said earlier in 2006. I want to express my profound sorrow. Slavery was abhorrent and it should never have happened. The royal pair were both severely criticized in Jamaica, in Barbados, in the Bahamas, as well as in Antigua. As a matter of fact, their limited statements in terms of giving an apology for the United Kingdom's involvement in slavery in the Caribbean have led groups like Advocate Network in Jamaica to say to Prince William, just say you're sorry. Just say you are sorry. I conclude by noting the following. British slavery statements with regards to apologizing or acknowledging their involvement have fallen far short of what the Caribbean Reparation Commission now requires. They have admitted guilt, but have not offered the explicit, full, formal, and sincere apology that the 2014 Caribbean Reparation Justice Program demands. Except perhaps for Liverpool City, the attempt to apologize reflect the miserliness, the superficiality, the disregard, and sometimes even hypocrisy, but mainly the disregard for the descendants of people of Africa who were enslaved in the Caribbean region. Nevertheless, they are strong indicators that the United Kingdom is fully cognizant of its wrongdoing and of the heavy debt that it owes in terms of repairing the devastating legacy of slavery in the Caribbean. I'll rest it there and look forward to your comments and your questions. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Island Space YouTube channel and visit our website at islandspacefl.org to learn more.